everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about superstitions and how maybe just the idea of hearing about a superstition can actually make you or get you to start believing in that superstition, which I think is kind of crazy. Now, I know we all know about the general superstitions, such as like the black cats or spilling salt or walking under a ladder, right? But what about when you hear superstitions that aren't part of your culture, right? What effect does that have on people? Now, I think you start to believe a superstition as soon as you learn from it, but it could also be that by knowing about it and then you thinking that in the past you have done the things that that superstition says you shouldn't do, and you have experienced, right, like not negative things happening to you, then you can argue against it and say, well, that, nothing bad has ever happened to me and I've always done that, right? But I can ask, could it be maybe because the culture or the context actually has something to do with it? Like you actually have to live in that area or in that culture so it can apply to you, right? Or is it just not true? Are superstitions completely false? They're not true? Or does, like I first mentioned, does knowing about it bring it to your mind and kind of make it real, right? Now, I want to kind of do an experiment with this video. I'm going to tell you a bunch of superstitions right now, interesting superstitions from different areas of the world, from different countries and cultures. And I want you to not think that they're real, right? Okay, so here we go. In Russia, for example, when you forget something like in your car or in another room, they say people will look in a mirror before going out. Right now, I'm not really sure why they do this. I think this is kind of like so they see their face, they got everything, they haven't lost their mind, maybe. But before they go out to get the thing that they forgot, they look in the mirror, right? Another one is that in Russia also, before going out on vacation, before going out on a vacation trip, excuse me, they will sit in silence, kind of like meditating. They will sit in silence, maybe as a way of like, I'm at peace with myself, and now I will go out into my vacation or go out into the world, right? Okay, in Lithuanian, whistling indoors is considered to attract evil spirits. So if you're sitting there in your house and you're whistling indoors, that means that you're attracting evil spirits, right? In Turkey, I think this is the most interesting one for me. In Turkey, it is considered you are basically attracting evil spirits if you stir your tea counterclockwise, right? So, and I don't know, because I do this with my coffee. I'll stir it like clockwise and then counterclockwise as a way to make sure that everything mixes, that the coffee and the sugar mix. But I guess if you do it counterclockwise, you're like attracting evil spirits. I don't know if this has to do maybe with like the fact that for me, that there's balance, right? That you're like stirring it one way and then you're stirring it the other way. But I guess if you stir it backwards or counterclockwise in Turkey, it's considered like a bad omen because you're attracting evil spirits. In Ukraine, shaking your legs while sitting brings bad luck. So I think this would be a bad thing if you're kind of like an anxious or nervous person and you're sitting down, especially like right before a job interview, and you're nervous and your leg is shaking. That's going to bring bad luck in Ukraine, right? In Korea, for example, when it's autumn and when it's fall and the leaves are falling, it is considered bad luck to catch a leaf, or just basically have a leaf fall on you or something, because they say that it shortens your lifespan, right? So you'll die like earlier. So it brings bad luck. In Russia, check this one out. In Russia, it is considered bad luck to sneeze on a Monday. If you, and this is in certain parts of Russia, if you sneeze on a Monday, it is considered that the rest of the week will be a bad week, right? You'll have bad luck. And today's Monday, and I actually did sneeze in the morning, but I'm like, I just think to myself, like, I'm not in Russia, so, you know. Okay, and then there are a couple ones that I got from the United States and Mexico. I'll start with the United States ones. These are pretty common. The black cat, right? A black cat crosses in front of you. That's bad luck. Breaking a mirror, right? There's another one. I forget the country, but if you break a mirror on a ship, it's bad luck while you're at sea, right? For 7 years or something like that. Um, but there are also good ones, like in the United States. Like for example, if you find a penny on the street, heads up, it means that you will have good luck, right? In Mexico, I didn't know this one. I have seen people wear like a red string bracelet, but I didn't really. I knew it had to do something with a superstition, but I didn't really know what it was for. But it's for the evil eye, or el ojo malo, I think. The evil eye is basically an idea that people can basically curse you only by looking at you with envy. So if a person envies you, like let's say a random person on the street, and they look at you, right, with envy, they curse you. And that's called the evil eye. So what the red string bracelet is supposed to do, it's supposed to protect you from that, right? From the evil eye of people, of envy. Oh yeah, in Mexico too, if someone sweeps your feet, they'll think that you won't get married, right? So it's bad luck. You're not gonna find the love of your life, right? If they sweep your feet, um, or if people sweep at night, it's also considered bad luck. But there are good things that you can do. Like there's a lot of, I think, I'm not sure if it has to do with witchcraft, but there's something that you do with scissors. Like I know that if you have a baby, and I think witches try to take your baby or something like that, they try to steal it. So you're supposed to put scissors around the baby, like open up the scissors to kind of like ward off the evil spirits or the witches. But I guess you can do this too by putting scissors under your pillow, which I think wouldn't be a good idea. But I guess that's like a good way to bring good fortune to you, or like putting scissors under your pillow. I think there's a lot of things with scissors, right? Especially with like the whole witchcraft thing. So then I was like, is all this magic? What is all these? What do all these superstitions have to do? Like, I think the one that for me is probably like one of the freshest ones I have right now is from the Cheetos video, which I already spoke on, and it's lighting a candle for good luck. So you light a candle, you ask, God or the spirits, the saints, for good fortune to improve on whatever you need to improve on, and you light that candle and you leave the candle lit, right? And that brings good fortune, right? I think that's a little bit more religious, because I think that's what people do just in general. If someone's in the hospital, hospitalized, people will light up candles, right? So I think that is like a superstition, like a good superstition that people have. But I was like, what do all these things have like in common psychologically or emotionally or mentally? And the internet says that it gives you like well, maybe they're acts to predispose yourself, right, subconsciously, that everything will be good or everything will be bad, depending on if it's a good superstition or a bad superstition. It also gives you a sense of control when things are unpredictable and unknowable, right? It's a way to cope. So it's a coping mechanism, right? Like it's a way to deal with the situation or the hardship. There's also pattern recognition and confirmation bias, where humans, they say, are prone to look at patterns. So even when there aren't none, right, like looking in the clouds and seeing a dog or something like that, so you'll see patterns even if there aren't patterns, right? Maybe that's because of our need to organize things, right, to see order in chaos. And there's the placebo effect, which I think has to do with what I just mentioned, of having that idea. And since I did this thing, which will bring me good luck, or I did this thing, which will bring me bad luck, then I'll have good luck or bad luck, respectively, right? So I think that does work as a, excuse me, like as a subconscious, or it works at a subconscious level, kind of like a placebo. A placebo is like candy, which the doctor can give you and will tell you this is going to heal your ailments or your diseases or whatever. And because you think that it will heal you, it heals you even though it wasn't really medicine, right? So the placebo effect can be made with different things. And I think it works on a subconscious, unconscious, symbolic level, where if I tell you, like, if you light up a candle, you'll have good luck. If you do this, this will happen, right? So it is kind of like magic, kind of like witchcraft. And you could say it could work, it could not work, right? But if it works, it would be kind of crazy. And if it doesn't work, then that will just make you a non believer. So let me know if you know of any other superstitions, weird superstitions. Let me know if by knowing about superstitions you didn't know about, now you'll be thinking about them. And that's all I got for this video. So I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.